What's up, kings and queens? This is your girl, Dr. C, a.k.a. the entrepreneurial Harriet Tubman. And this is Forgive That PHARMD, where we share ideas, experiences, and hope. I'm breaking away from that slave 9 to 5 and just being a free man, living your best life. All right, you know what time it is. Right now, we're going to go into gratefuls. Like, what are we grateful for, guys? Right now, I can give you one thing that you should be grateful for, that you woke up this morning, right? You got, you woke up this morning, you were able to get yourself dressed, get on to work, and you were able to, just go ahead and do what you wanted to do and get on with, completing, fulfilling your dream. So that's just one thing you're grateful for. Always come up with things every day that you can be grateful for, because that's going to advance you. That's going to allow you to see the resources you can use to get to that next level. So I did it, guys. I told you I was going to bring somebody on the team. I told you I was going to bring somebody on this podcast who's going to help you get to that next level. I told you I was going to bring the authors. I was going to bring the motivational speakers. And tonight we have two people on. Sharita Johnson, you've all known her. She's Lieutenant Johnson. She's a nurse entrepreneur. She's doing her thing, making the money. And also we have a new guest here, N.M. Davis Jr. He is a bomb motivational speaker, author. He's just killing it. His new book, he's going to talk to you a little bit more about that. But we just connected at the mingle that I host on once a month. And this guy, man, when you talk to him, you ready to get right. You like, let's go, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and do
Let's go.
So that's him right now. So go ahead, Mike. Let us know about your company and what do you do, and just introduce yourself.
So good evening, everyone, and ladies, thank you for having me on tonight. I'm N.M. Davis.
Already.
I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I'm an educator, and I love to motivate people. My company, Amending LLC, was created to help change the mindset of our people, of all people, to help them live more abundant lives through the thoughts that they hold in their mind, because it all starts in our mind, people. It all starts in our mind, and our lives are created by our thoughts. Our thoughts create our actions, and our actions create our habits. So I created Amended Minds to help people change their mindsets by changing their perspective. And, Krista, you brought up the things that you're thankful for. By helping them look at the things that they're thankful for rather than looking at their problems and their issues. They can see the things that they got going on in their lives and all the good things, the things that they love rather than the things that they hate. Focus on the good, So that's me. I just put out my first book. Yeah, absolutely. Positivity.
Oh.
I just put out my first book. It's a children's poem book, and it's called Poems of Value. It's 32 poems that help instill good, positive characteristics and values that build positive traits in your children and help them to grow and become strong adults.
Let me just say that I personally own a copy of that book, and me and my son pick one poem to go over every single day to promote those positive affirmations within him. My son is 6. For those of you that don't know, you probably do because I talk about it often, but he's 6 years old, and he absolutely loves this book. So if you have, kinder-age children, elementary, middle school, really this book is for anybody. I love reading those poems because there are days when I'm just like, blah, but I'm expected to be, positive every day. It's not for myself, for him, and so I definitely take the opportunity every morning to allow him to pick out one of those poems to not only inspire and affirm who he is, but to do the same for me. I just absolutely love the book.
Right.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
I feel the same way, yeah. Go ahead, King.
Yeah, so just like Ms. Johnson said, that these poems, they help build you up and help you be positive, because none of us find it easy to stay positive 24/7. You know, some days it's just hard to get into that mode and to get into that energy, but you got to get there. You know, if you're going to be successful, if you're going to lead a successful and happy and abundant life, you got to get yourself there, and it has to become a habit, David.
Yes. I love it. You got to stay on that cloud. Every single day. You need that motivation every single day, like Sharita was saying. Your child has to be in that every single day, because the things that they're going through today, I mean, it's crazy. You know, they got people trying to put sex things in them, you know, like expose them to different type of things that they shouldn't be exposed to at such a young age now, like guns and, you know, all this other noise. So this is what you want to get, you know what I'm saying? Like that positivity, that affirmation. I'm going to get one for my kids. That's a great Christmas present, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And just like we feed our children breakfast, you know, we want them to have a healthy breakfast. Everything that goes into them, whether they hear it, they see it, or they're eating it, they're taking that all in. And it all builds who they are. That builds who they are. You know, so in the morning, we've seen it, you know, on Facebook, on YouTube. Parents nowadays are giving their children these affirmations, you know, that help build them before they go out into the world. You know, and we have to do that for our children, because if we don't do it for that children, somebody else is putting something in them that they don't need to have. You know, and then we got to come back and we got to fix it. And we got to turn it around and tell them, hey, no, that's not who you are. This is who you are. You know, they're seeing the thing on TV thinking, all right, well, man, the TV is saying this is who I am. America expects me to be this. Well, maybe that's who I am. If we're not telling them who they are and showing them who they are by being the kings and queens so that they can be the princes and princesses, then they're going to be lost. And they're going to be trying to find it out there versus us giving it to them before they get out there.
Yes.
And the most important thing that I feel like I can contribute to what we're speaking to right now is that they do get so many outside influences from the television, from their children that they're in the classroom with, from the teachers that are teaching them, the television, the video games, all of these things. You're just riding down the street in your car. I generally tend to not even ride with music in my car because some of the things that are going on are so negative, and the kids are just attached to the beat. They're not really attached to the words, but those things are still going into their ears and to their minds. And so I generally tend to not even ride with music on in my car. If I do, it's spiritual music. But I think that we have to, our influence and our voice in their ear has to be louder than those negative influences. And the positive that we feed them on a daily basis, when those negative things do come in, they recognize those things as negativity, and they'll push those things away the way that you're trying to keep them out of their lives anyway. So I think that's important for me to add to that statement that you were making, David.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's what Poems of Value does. It's 32 poems that are inspiring and encouraging, so when they run into these things, they'll say, no, that's not who I am. This is who I am. You know, I heard this, and, you know, me and my mom, we talked about this, and this is who I am. This is what I need to do. I don't need to listen to that out there.
Yeah.
These ladies are absolutely right. Y'all got me amped, man. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Let's get it. So, I was going to ask you a question. So, I know you're a motivational speaker, and your passion is toward the youth, is what we were talking about. Like, when you were growing up, like, what is one person who, like, just really inspired you and just, like, set you off, like, okay, I got to get it together. I'm going to get it together. I'm about to be great. Like, who did that for you? So,
this is crazy that you asked that question. So, when I was young, I had a vision that I would be speaking to the masses, right? And I was a quiet kid when I was growing up. But Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has always been my inspiration. His compassion, his resilience, his resolve, his strength to overcome the adversity that he had to overcome and to lead us into the dream, into the promised land in which we are in now, so that we can do
we're living it, yep.
all that we want. Exactly. We're living his dream.
Take advantage.
And right. And so he was that first visionary that I saw that, did it in a nonviolent manner, because I've always been a nonviolent type dude. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm in the military, and when war comes to war, it's a necessary evil at times. But he was the first one doing it differently from what I had always heard, what I had always saw. He was bringing a different passion, and I loved reading about him as a child. I loved all the studies that I did whenever I had to, investigate or do some studies on a hero, write about somebody that inspired me. It was always Dr. King. But my father and my mother, they were very instrumental, in my upbringing, my positive upbringing. Even though, growing up, young parents make mistakes, but my parents always told me, my brother, and my sister that you can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. If you believe it, then you can achieve it. If you can think it, then you can be it. They always instilled those types of things in us and challenged us to go out there and try to build the things that we held in our imagination, that we held in our minds. And that's what I carried with me throughout my life, and that's what I'm doing now.
That's what you're doing now. You're giving back. I love it. What about you, Sharita? Like, who was that inspiration in your life, that one person who, when you were younger, you were just like, you know what, I'm going to be somebody. I'm going to be somebody. I'm going to make it. Who's that?
This may even sound so bad, but to be honest, my parents were amazing parents. I grew up on a farm in Tennessee. We had, we grew our own food, all that. But I just think that I was never pushed or encouraged to be great. And that's not a negative thing. I don't want that to sound bad. It's just honestly a product of how they grew up. The time period that they grew up. So I knew early that I wanted to be greater than anyone ever expected me to be, if that makes sense. And so I try to pour that same feeling into other people or other children or other young adults that I see may not have anyone that's pushing them to be greater each and every day. And Tatum's got a hard life around here, y'all, because I definitely push him further than most 6-year-olds.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that.
Yeah, I was going to say, and that's half the reason why he gets into a lot of the trouble that he gets into, because people don't expect a 6-year-old to be as great as he is. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just being honest.
No.
So I said that to say it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is that I encounter. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That young prince is one of the most intelligent 6-year-olds I've ever met.
Oh, yes, my goodness.
Thank you.
You think you're going to get over on him, you're not.
You're not.
Right.
He actually thinks he's going to get over on you. But I was just saying that every person that I meet, I generally try to, if I have a genuine conversation with them and we stop and we have a 2 or 3 minute conversation, I most of the time try to get to the bottom of who they want to become, what their goals are for themselves, and what I can do to help them reach those goals. And so that's just how I chose to live my life early on. I was asked, I remember one time I was in this contest. I was in high school, and I was in this contest, and one of the questions that they asked was, what do you want to be when you grow up, or what do you see yourself doing in 5 years? And my response, I think about it now, and I was like, wow. My response was, I just want to make my parents proud of me.
Wow.
I didn't necessarily have a goal for myself. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I just wanted to make them proud of me. And I carry that story within me as well, because I feel like I want my son to know what he wants to be, what his purpose is, what God has kind of set his life up to be. at the age that I was at that time. You get what I'm saying? So I try to continue to pour ideas, expose him to things, try to teach him great habits, behaviors, characteristics that are going to develop him into the person that I want to see him pour into other people as well, positively.
Yes. So, like, where do you get all this information? Like, how do you know, what resources do you use to know, okay, this is how I have to raise my son. These are the steps that are going to get him to be that better man, the top, person, the CEO. Like, where do you draw your insight, your inspiration?
So, for me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, ladies first. Go ahead, please.
Books. I try to expose him to so many things. I think, okay, I asked him one day, so do you want to start your own business in 2020? He's like, no, Mom. I was like, why? He's like, I don't want to work. I was like, wrong answer. So I always try to, like, find books that speak to raising an entrepreneur or raising children of character, things like that. You know, there's a 5 love languages for kids, and I read books like that. There's so many resources out there in books because you want to get to know the child that you're rearing so you can pretty much bring the most potential out of them possible.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I just definitely and let me just be clear. N.M. Davis has been in my life for almost 20 years. He's been in my son's life for his 6 short years of life, and I definitely credit men like him with me drawing inspiration from who they are to pour those characteristics into my son. And that's
go ahead and give him a shot right there. Yes.
And I will never let you down.
Love it.
I will not let you down.
Love it.
I will not let you down.
I love
Thank you. And for me,
absolutely.
I have my son, and I'm raising my son, and for me, what I started with was I went back and I looked at all of the things that I needed to fix about myself and all of the things that I didn't want to pour into him, because a lot of times, before we can grow, we got to get out of our own way. And we got to kind of grow and undo some of the things that were done when we were growing up. And they weren't done intentionally, but you pick up negative things along the way, and you got to go back and rethink, change your mind about a lot of different things before you can move forward, right? So that's where I started with myself, and realizing that I needed to fix some things about myself, that I didn't want my son to see certain things, and I didn't want my children, not just my son, but my children, being a certain way that, say my family has been for generations and generations and generations. So changing how we see ourselves and changing what we're doing so that our kids are not continuing to do the same things that we've been doing for generations and generations and generations. The negative things, let me say that. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of positive things that I keep, but those negative things, I wanted to start with those and change those things within myself so that I can make sure that my children are not getting those things. But like you said, Sharita brought up a good point. Books are an amazing resource. That is one of the biggest tools that we can use for our children, and we have to choose those books that they're reading. So we can't just let them. Now, don't get me wrong, any type of reading to stimulate the mind is better than sitting around and watching TV or playing on the phone, But you want to watch what you're feeding them. Make sure that you are giving them good books to read, that's going to build their mind, that's going to help them think, that's going to help them think differently, and think about, in this day and age, we got so much. The children these days got so much. They ain't got to pick up no encyclopedia. You don't even have to go to a library, even though they still do. Right, exactly. They got YouTube University, right?
I know, man.
Got YouTube University.
It's awesome.
They can, you can learn anything you want nowadays on YouTube.
Absolutely.
And I mean, so for me, I create a routine for myself, and I model my son's routine after my routine. So every morning I get up before, first thing I do is I'm thankful for at least 5 things. I'm saying what I'm thankful for. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. To get in that positive mindset, because, even if I'm tired and I don't feel like getting out of the bed, you know what? I open my eyes. I'm breathing. I'm healthy.
Come on now.
I can walk. I can move, So I'm getting myself in that positive mindset very first thing before my feet even hit the ground, right? Next thing is my affirmation. I am number 1 motivational speaker in the world. I am a successful best-selling author. I am a successful educator. I am a millionaire, the soon-to-be billionaire. I am a king. I am a good man. I am a strong man. All of the things that I declare that I am, and I carry myself to be that. And then I look at my vision board. I look at my vision board, and these are things I do every morning. Regardless, every morning. If I don't do one of these things, it's a habit now, so I feel bad. I'm like, oh man, I'm not winning in the morning, so my day is going to be a little bit off. So I got to get up, and I have to make myself do these things. And I tell you what, I haven't placed a post on Facebook yet, but my next post is going to be, if you don't have a vision board, get you one, right? Because I got the initial vision of what my book was going to look like, the book cover was going to look like. And I had that little piece of paper attached to my vision board, and I got my book sitting right next to that piece of paper. 1 year later, the vision has come true. And there's other visions that I got on my vision board that have started to manifest themselves as well. But, I'm not going to give that to everybody. I'm just going to show them the one that has manifested itself to completion and is still growing right now. So you got to visualize, and I do what I call, we were talking about earlier, feeding our kids good food, giving them good words before they leave. Well, I have what I call the Breakfast of Champions, right? And it's Bible scriptures that build me up every morning, so you got to get those, you got to get that good word in you every day, you know what I'm saying? Before I go to anything else, before I look at Facebook, before I look at anything else, I'm saying these Bible scriptures to myself. Isaiah 7:9. If you will not believe, surely you shall not be established. If you're going to succeed in life, the first thing you have to do is have belief. Believe that you can, right? So I flip that and I say, surely if you will believe, then surely you shall be established, right? The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So everything that is His is His. And if He says that I can have it, I can have it. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. What I believe myself to be, that is what I am, regardless of what the world has to say about it, right? And so I fill myself up with these words every morning, every day, so I'm not walking around feeling defeated. And I can tell you what, man, my life has changed drastically since I started taking those actions, So that's just a part of my morning routine, and I feed that to my son. I feed that to my children. Every morning I'm sending out positive motivational messages to groups of people. And so I got to get in that mindset to build them up. I got to build myself up first, you know what I'm saying, so that I can give off those seeds and build everybody else up, Yeah, because, it's gotten to the point to where they depend on me for that. If I'm not giving it, people are like, hey, Mike, you all right? Where you at? Where you at?
Definitely. We're looking for you. We're looking for you every day. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Where's my message?
I got to get my nerves there, of course.
Yeah,
you
so it's accountability.
Right now, man. I'm like, yes. Go ahead.
You got to live it. And it becomes a lifestyle, becomes habit. And, once you start to live it, then you hold yourself accountable, you create your to-do, I create daily to-do lists, of things that I got to get done every day that's going to move me forward to my next speaking gig, to my next book, to the next message, whatever it may be, I got that on my to-do list. And if I'm not knocking it out, then I feel like, man, I'm letting myself down. And so before I can make my children and my parents proud, I got to make me proud. I got to be somebody that I can look in the mirror and be like, man, you did what you could today. And if you could have did more,
it's a great
you
feeling.
should have did more. Right. So that's what I do.
So
what about you?
Ever,
what are some of the things that you do? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Me? Oh no.
Yeah.
So when I have a routine too. Like I get up and I do my gratefuls like you do, 5 gratefuls, because that sets the positivity, that sets the tone throughout the day. My mind automatically starts looking for, okay, the boss yelling at you, but it's not so bad. Look at what you got. At least you have a job, So it just helps my mind to focus on gratefuls when I start out that way. I do a little meditation where I just sit still, quiet, close my eyes for about 30 minutes and just meditate, just focus on my breathing. And then I get into, like what you said, scriptures, but I usually also incorporate just any positive literature, any type of, usually I'll go on Pinterest and just type in motivation. You can pull up something, and then I'm good. So I start getting my, my kids get up and, getting them ready and stuff like that. But I make sure that I wake up at least an hour before I have to, so that I can get all this in. See, that's the thing, being consistent with it. It's not just a one-time thing. You feel great, but you got to keep going. Like every single day, it has to hit. You know what I'm saying? So.
Right.
Yeah, it does change.
Yeah.
It changes you. But
and it's become addictive.
Addictive? How?
Yeah, that feeling, that feeling of positivity becomes so addictive. That I gotta have it. I gotta have it throughout the day.
But see, you can't even leave it alone. You can't leave it alone because people are drawn from you. So they're actually pulling that motivation from you throughout the day. Like you said, like they're always looking, hey, can you inspire me? Can you inspire me? So you can't really get away from it. Like you have to every single day continue.
But
go ahead.
Yeah, but, I don't want to, though. You know what I'm saying? And that's my gift, I mean, since I can remember, people have always just gravitated to me, telling me their problems. And when I was young, I would sit there and be like, why is this adult telling me all their problems? I just don't.
You got the sign on your forehead.
Yeah, what you want me to say to you? I don't know I don't know what it means to be in debt.
Right.
I mean, so at the time as a kid, and so I'm like, it was just. That was my gift, and when I realized that was my gift, that I'm always looking on the bright side. I'm always trying to, I always got a smile. I'm always welcoming, inviting, and sometimes it can be to a fault. But I tell myself that it's not to a fault, because if somebody take advantage of me, it's they lost, not mine, right? And so it's addictive, and it's just who I am, and I need to get it in me. I need to get it in me. And right now, I got so much peace in my life, man, and it's so beautiful.
Wow.
And I don't want nothing but positivity, I mean,
because at the end of the day, you're living in your purpose, and that is a good feeling. Not many people can say that they're living in their purpose. So that joy that you have is definitely you living in your purpose.
You're absolutely right about that. Right about that.
And how do you find your purpose though? Like, do you know? Like, how did you know that? Like you said, you were young and you just knew that you were going to be. You had a vision that you were going to be a motivational speaker, but you were shy. That's what you were saying, that you were shy about it. Like, were you kind of doubtful at first? Yeah.
No. So I had the vision, but I didn't accept it. Right. And but. So I didn't accept it, and I didn't like, talking in front of people. Matter of fact, when I was in high school, I had to stand up and give a rap in front of class, and I had to talk in front of people, and I was mumbling, and I wasn't sure of myself, and it took me a while, to become a man, to grow into myself. When I started seeing it, when I believe when I was 18, I started going to this church. And I looked at some of the elders standing around there, and I realized that a lot of these elders, the pastor had got it. It was a visiting pastor. He had got up and he had, did a sermon off of one of the scriptures. And I'm looking at that scripture, because I had read it before, and I'm like, that ain't what that say, And everybody in the church was like, yeah, they feeling it, right? And I'm like, man, did these folks? Am I on the wrong page? Because they're waiting for somebody to feed it to them. They're not getting it themselves, right?
They ain't getting it. No,
they're not getting it themselves, right? Exactly, right. And so I'm like, man, it's a huge loss, right? And it took someone. It takes people standing up to tell them. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't stand up, during his preaching and say, "Hey, you wrong." No, I didn't do that, right? But what I did do is afterwards, I'm talking to some of the elders. Yeah, I'm talking to some of the elders. I'm like, hey, I don't think that's what the word meant, and I, you correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I got out of it. This is what I got out of it. Oh, yeah, that sounds like it's not right. That sounds, but they weren't getting it for themselves. And when I realized that, people could be sheeple, and that's what I was, people sometimes won't study to be approved for themselves. They'll just wait for somebody else to tell them and take what somebody else tells them without them studying, right? And so to me, I care about people, and I care about, how they're living their lives. There's so many people that are out here hurting right now, and I mean, the suicide rate is up. So, it's crazy. Higher than it's ever been. It's ridiculous, and so people are out there hurting, and they're looking for somebody to guide them. They're looking for encouragement. They're looking for, they're looking for life, really, because they're not living. They're just slowly dying, existing and slowly dying. Yeah. And so what made me really start voicing my opinion and voicing what I had inside me was when I saw the pain that people were going through, and I'm like, I'm trying to tell them, you ain't got to live this way. Life is short. You got to get some happy about you. Get happy about something. And the only way you do that is to change your mind. Change your mind. Realize that you can have whatever it is you want to, but you got to be able to work. You can.
Yep. So, yes, you can. Y'all hear that, people? You can get it. You can get it. Straight from NM. Yes, you can get it. You can have everything you want. Yes, that's what I love. Yeah, let's go. Everything. In 2022, double. That's what we learned. double. I want double success, everything.
Right, and I mean, I think, an important thing is people got to realize that, you're seed. We are seeds. And the growth process or the success process is you being planted, because you're going to go through tough times. That's where you establish your roots, get your roots set in the ground, man, so you can stand tall when those storms come. Once you break through ground, those storms going to come, and you got to be able to weather the storms, and success is going to grow you like a tree would be growing, you know what I'm saying? And when you plant that seed, you know what type of tree that seed is going to become, and if that seed plants itself and establishes a firm foundation for itself, then that tree can, depending on how big that tree is supposed to grow, that tree is going to, grow and be abundant and bear fruit, and that's each one of us. We are a seed, and we have something inside of us that needs to come out, but that is not going to come out if you don't put yourself through the process. You got to go through the tough times with success. You got to go through the struggle. Nothing's going to be easy. Anything and everything that's worth having is going to be tough. You're going to have to work for it, what I'm saying? You're going to have to fight for it at times, but it's worth it. It's so much worth it, when you can sit back and say, yeah, this is what I got, and see everything that you become, not just what you have, but what you've become.
Absolutely, 100%. So what advice would you give somebody who's like going through some depression? Like what's the first thing you would do if you had depression just came on you all of a sudden? Like how do you get out of that? What's your routine there?
So y'all go. This is kind of crazy, right? But I love to hear the sound of babies laughing, right? And so, like, that's just, it's just, you know,
okay.
I love to hear the sound of babies laughing, right? So when I hear a baby's laughter, I mean, it's just like, you know what? Everything in the world is all right. You know,
okay.
That baby laughing. And so, you know, that's one thing, you know, when my kids were little, whenever they would laugh, man, it would just fill my heart with so much joy, right? I mean, even now, my son, he's 13. He got a little Barry White voice. Even when he laughs now, you know, I get happy to hear him laugh, you know. And so if I'm feeling down and out, or I just, you know, feel like it's hard for me to get in that positive mode, then my tools that I have is I go to YouTube and I listen to babies laughing.
Yeah.
Right? And if that's not giving me what I need, give me what I need, I go to one of my favorite songs is Tony, It Feels Good, right? So that song get me going, you know. And then I got a playlist.
Wow, okay.
It's called growth music, you know. So I put on my growth music,
right.
And then after a while, you know, I'm getting that good music. I'm getting them good vibes in me, and next thing you know, I'm in a positive mood, right? And it's shown by science. Studies have shown that even if you're not in a good mood, you go to the mirror and you smile for about 20 seconds, it'll put you in a better mood, right?
Really?
So a lot of people be like, nah, man, a lot of people be like, nah, that's fake, man. Well, I do it, you know, and it helps me. So, you know.
It helps you, yeah.
If it don't help you, it helps me. If it don't help you, hey, you trying to stay there. I'm not trying to stay there, you know.
Right.
Some people. I'm sorry,
so
go ahead.
What you said, it was way before people were about to think about committing suicide. They need to go to the mirror real quick and be like, yeah, let me just. I can see that happening though, but to get over that, you know, my life sucks. Let me go smile in the mirror real quick. Hold up.
But you know,
I love it though. I get what you're saying.
That also depends on the mindset that they in, though. You know, I mean, because if they're doing things, if their actions have been, you know, actions that go towards the point to where they feel like they can't even look themselves in the eye, they can't look in the mirror, then that's not necessarily going to help them, right? That's not going to help them.
Right.
So what they'll have to do is you have to have a team of people that you can call on. And I know that, you know, people that are dealing with depression, they don't want to call on nobody, right? I know I dealt with it before.
Isolation.
Right. Isolation. You don't want to get out. You don't want to be around people. And then there's times you feel like you want to get around people, but then that anxiety comes on. You're like, nah, I'm gonna stay home, you know. And you end up not doing anything, right? But when you're in that area of solitude, you have to be able to combat those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. Every negative thought that comes along, you got to combat it with at least 3 positive thoughts. Beat that negative thought out of your mind with positive thinking, because that's where it's all at, you know.
That's what you got to do.
In that positive thinking.
Drown it out, absolutely. Well, you know, we're coming to the end of our podcast, and I just want to thank you, Sharita, and you fine, man. You want to keep going?
I'm
like, come on now, what?
I mean, I told you I could talk about this all night, you know, and I'm sorry. I took up.
Next time, you know.
I'm drowning y'all out, you know.
No, you good. So go ahead and leave them with your information, and you too, Sharita, how they can get in contact with you, and you know what's good. And you can go NM first.
All right, so you can look me up, NM Davis Jr. on Facebook. I also have Amended Minds Facebook page. You can reach me at nmdavisjr1981 at gmail as well to get a hold of me. Check out my new book, Poems of Value. It's for sale on Amazon for $12.99. If you'd like to buy multiple copies, bulk copies, then you can contact me via my email page, my email, or my Facebook pages. I want to tell you that you can be, do, and have anything that you want, but you have to believe.
Alright.
Always believe and always be becoming.
Yep. What about you, Sharita?
I can be reached
you want to say
for
to the public?
Sharita.Johnson at Gmail. Sharita Johnson on Facebook. Also, Covenant Co-Air on Facebook. And yeah, anybody that's looking to be encouraged, definitely this circle is one to be a part of. So try to catch this podcast every week because it's popping.
Every Monday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, guys, y'all have a wonderful time. And like I said, always be grateful and come back next week. We're going to still be getting it, but go ahead and do your thing. All right, peace out.